Absolutely brilliant to see everyone here. I just want to keep it fairly simple, don't have a lot to say. The main thing is just to thank everyone for the enormous effort of being part of our branch, taking part in the votes, standing strong and standing up to university executive and the appalling decisions they're making, which is wrecking our university. So, and also, before I move on to specific items, to thank everybody, the choir, our guest speakers, the students. It's amazing how much support we're getting from everybody, so a huge thank you, and to the people who've made donations into our strike fund, so other unions, individuals and other branches. That's fantastic. Thank you to all those people. Right, so the most important thing to say is our overwhelming mandate for strike action and the solidity of the strike action and all your efforts to turn up here are working. It's instructive that we had talks with ACAS last week and management have already come back with an offer. We'll get to talk about that in detail. It's not a perfect offer. We can talk about that in some detail. But the vital thing is that university executives have moved their position and we have something to consider that could help us and we can vote on tomorrow. There's a few parts to that offer. The first one is most of immediate concern and really bad for people is the threat of compulsory redundancy. We had a big VS scheme and we know that we've lost over 100 people. University executives have essentially been able to make all of the savings or almost all of the savings that they themselves targeted, and there's actually no good reason why they should go ahead with any further redundancies at all, and we'll be fighting this as hard as we can, really plain and simple. So the next thing to say is that we will be going into a meeting to talk about that this afternoon. The fact that everyone's here showing their support for our action and taking the action and making it difficult for the university will provide us with the leverage that we need in those negotiations to try to push back on those redundancies. We don't want to see a single member of staff lose their job through compulsory redundancy. It's bad enough that we've seen our colleagues go through voluntary severance. I've been talking to individual members from various schools across the university, to students here, students from the University of Sheffield, and the overwhelming picture that we're trying to explain to the university executive is that every time we lose a member of staff, an experienced and valued member of staff who does research and provides high quality teaching, the end result is that students suffer and they get a lower quality education, and we keep on trying to make this argument. I think it might be getting through to some extent. We need to preserve the quality of what we all do here for ourselves and even more importantly for the students. So to move on to the next part, we've got the subsidiary company. It was always a bad scheme. It's essentially, you could call it tax avoidance, I suppose, because it's money that goes into central government. Central government essentially fund almost everything that happens here apart from international student fees, whether it's teaching, student loans, grants for research, and they lay down the rules on the pension schemes which are purely intended to give us dignity in retirement. So there's no reason to avoid the pension scheme, whatever the contribution level. Fortunately, there seems to be a whole load of media rumours and stuff coming through potentially from government to reduce the employer contributions, such that at least a university executive will probably have no reason to go through with a subsidiary company. And we're hoping that once we've got sufficient information that can be taken off the books, that proposal gets withdrawn. And so we've got a better position on there, but we still don't know where we're at with that. So to the last point on employment terms and conditions, these have been built up through hard work of lots of people in the union, the members supporting them over many, many decades. These terms and conditions are written into a national contract from 1992. The university is just deciding to shred those terms and conditions just because they want to save some money. The end result will be reducing the quality of the staff that want to work in universities, reducing the amount of time they have to do research and to deliver better quality teaching. So we're going to fight those as hard as possible. The really sad thing is that so many proposals have been laid down and talks were ended so early, we haven't even talked about hardly any of those proposals. So we're hoping we can go back and negotiate those properly and push back on those. They won't save much money, they're completely unnecessary. So if you look at the whole package, the university wanted to lay down all these proposals, which are really damaging, to save a small amount of money to be able to continue the level of spending on buildings, capital spending, which they didn't need to do. Maybe some of the cuts are warranted, but certainly not to the level that they proposed. Now, with having taken VS and the TPS employer contributions most likely coming down, there's absolutely no reason to go ahead with any more of the proposals. We're going to stand strong, we're going to stay on strike, we're going to talk about the offer tomorrow, and we're going to discuss that with members. Make sure you turn up, decide whether to accept or reject the offer. Whichever way it goes, we're still in dispute. If we accept the offer, we'll still be waiting for university executive to decide whether to go through with proposals later in the year, and we may have to take further strike action. But I'm sure that if it does come to that, you will be with us, we'll be standing strong, and we'll be able to defend anything else that management tried to push through with us. Okay, thank you.